I quote, "In an Overseas Institute 2015 reports on jobs for the future, it states that tomorrow's jobs will look dramatically different from those of today. Fundamental changes in technology, the digital revolution, are breaking down barriers and building bridges with unprecedented speed," unquote. As Junior Commissioner of Tourism, my first plan of action is to be the key partner in the next Tourism Generation Alliance, creating a strong and working relationship between education and the work field. Secondly, I will sit with my national, local government, and educational stakeholders. My focus will be geared towards enforcing ICT curriculum within schools from a young age, ensuring that our youth are prepared for the future job market. Thirdly, my focus will be on specific digital experts. Trained and skilled drone pilots, drone mechanics, and virtual reality experts will be a must in our future job bank. Drone technology is taking over the tourism world. It stimulates virtual tourism or drone tourism, which can benefit our island as well as persons with physical needs or persons on a low budget. Just envision experiencing our natural tropical rainforest, the Quill. A dormant volcano which lies 2,000 feet above sea level is home to a variety of orchids, tropical birds, and fruit trees. With aerial videography, tourists will be able to get a bird's eye view, which would captivate anyone wanting to have a one-in-a-lifetime experience. Just imagine sitting in the comfort of your living room and being transferred a step back in time with a stroll through our historical Oranjestad with its 17th century wooden gingerbread houses. Our Jewish synagogue, the second oldest in the Western Hemisphere. You will literally climb the stairs and see a spectacular view of our town, Fort Oranje, and as daylight fades away, you'll be able to experience one of the most beautiful sunsets, a melting pot of colors. It is a wonderful, fantastic, spectacular to enjoy. It is my belief that when youngsters, more specifically stations, are skilled, we can better equip our youth to thrive in an ever-changing tourism environment. Our real jewels lie in our underwater world, our 17th and 18th century artifacts, including our shipwreck, which attract international renowned divers. With our future virtual reality experts, would make our underwater experience a diverse paradise, a dream destination, the real deal. Thank you.
Wow. Yes. The Tourism Youth Congress is an inaugural part of the Caribbean Tourism Organization's CTO annual State of the Tourism Industry Conference, SOTIC, and is a regional activity involving students between the ages of 14 and or to 17 who are nationals, which means citizens, resident, naturalization, from CTO member countries. It is structured to mirror a CTO Board of Directors meeting, and its main aim is to stimulate greater awareness of and excitement about tourism among youth or young people in our Caribbean communities by allowing them to research various facets of the tourism sector and share their ideas and vision with respect to future directions of Caribbean tourism. From the 2nd of October to the 5th of October 2019, this Youth Congress was held in Antigua. You have just heard the voice of Ms. Anastasia Constantia, who have represented the island of St. Eustatius at this prestigious event. In the studio with us today, of course, we have Ms. Anastasia Constantia and also her chaperone, Ms. Nora Snake. Please introduce yourselves.
Well, my name is Anastasia Cristania, and I am, as of October, the Junior Commissioner of Tourism for the island of St. Eustatius, which is our community.
Fantastic.
Yes. I'm none other than Miss Leonora Snake Gibbs, president of the Spice Foundation, and worked as chaperone for Miss Anastasia during the term of the Youth Congress in Antigua.
Great. Miss Nick, I want to start with you
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
You mentioned Spice
Yes.
Foundation.
Mhm.
If I just can read a quick piece from the entire procedures of this Youth Congress event. In order for countries to participate in the Tourism Youth Congress, the Ministry Department of Tourism in the respective countries must first host a national tourism competition. The student who wins the national tourism competition will represent his or her country at the Caribbean Tourism Youth Congress in the current year and will be given the title of Junior Commissioner Minister, etc., etc. Now, Spice is actually busy with this right now.
Yes.
Remember, that's why I read that piece. It said, I want people to understand what your role is and what you're doing and how important it is that you have taken this task under your belt. Spice Foundation.
Yes.
Where did Spice get the idea of collaborating or cooperating in doing this?
Okay. First of all, Spice Foundation was founded in the year 2001 with the idea of, in our statutes, it is stated to do anything in the broadest sense of the word for education. So it is to promote international culture and education. So therefore, we embark on a broad scope of things for the youths and education as a whole. Is as part of that, debating has always been for me
A passion.
yes, a passion. And therefore, since I think in the year 2006, when Lemise Gittins of Statia, she became the junior commissioner of tourism in Aruba. And at that time, I requested CTO, I asked CTO if it was okay for me to take some students along, even though they were not part of the whole thing, but if they were able to go. And at that time, I took 6 students from Statia to Aruba to be able to see and experience what it was like. So after then, I think we kind of had faded down a bit. But in the years after, I took it again on myself as to, I think, when Cantonia went, it was a joint venture between tourism and myself. I said, okay, let me take care of the debate and the tourism as tourism then. So we took Cantonia at the time. We did not do a local competition. But
Time was of the essence.
yes, and we chose Cantonia, and she did a great job at it. The following year, in 2016, I think we did, no, 2016 or 2017, we were again about to go, and we did not because of the hurricane.
Yes.
No islands were able to
No, not at all.
to travel. So we did not go. It was held then in Grenada. And then last year, it was held in the Bahamas, and we took along Shakwan Maharaj, and Shakwan did a great job as well. And of course, this year, and what it was nice too, because in the Bahamas, they never heard of Statia.
That's the
So,
idea.
you
I wanted
know,
to
so
say, I'm glad you said that. I'm
Never
glad you
heard
said
of
that.
Statia. And then this year, well, we tried really to get as many students to take part in the competition. We had 5 students that entered, but only 3 took part. That was Anastasia, it's Angelo Maharaj, and Shinaidi Spanner. And from those three, we held a local competition in front of an audience and with judges, and they also took the same criterias that would be then done in the youth congress.
Okay.
And Miss Anastasia, at that night, she came out to be the one chosen for being our junior commissioner to represent the island then. So this is an ongoing thing, and that is part of SPICE that we look into debating. We did not only do it with CTO. When there was the Kingdom Youth Parliament held in St. Martin a few years ago, I also took, we had 3 students from Statia, from the Gwendolyn Van Putten School, who had taken part, and that was where we had like 50 students from all over the kingdom, Holland and Curacao, Aruba, Bonaire, St. Martin, Sabre, Statia. They took part also in that debate, which was held in St. Martin. So we are a long time busy with debate, and we are planning to continue, and we want to really make it a bigger issue for more youths to be able to take part. But I'm sure that when Anastasia is finished telling you all, I will have a lot of students who will be more interested in, really debating.
Yeah, well, let's give Anastasia a chance, because we let Nora talk, you get no chance today. Okay, so Anastasia, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, definitely. Thanks for taking the time out to be here with us. You are the junior commissioner right now of tourists. How does it feel?
It feels good, but it holds a lot of responsibility.
Okay.
I feel like it's just not a title. Like, I just could go normally to school and say, oh yeah, I'm junior commissioner of tourism, but I also have plans to do certain things and I want to achieve. Like I said somewhere in my speech, like, yeah, we are the future. And when everyone ages and grows old, Statia is gonna have to have their youth to thrive and do things for us, because I went and it was such a wonderful experience.
Tell us about the experience. A little bit.
It's a little
Don't go too much in details.
Hold on, let me start from the
All right.
beginning. So
Good.
in 2017, I was asked to partake, but due to the hurricane, it was canceled. I was disappointed. And then my mother told me, hey, they have again. So I said, sure, let me enter. I was okay. I did a bunch of research, read up on everything, and I got my topic, and I was nervous because I didn't know what to write, and I got stuttering. I think I wrote it maybe 4 times over.
Oh, wow.
I made 2 official prints. I said one. I was next to 2 other people, Angelo and Zunaidi. We were all nervous. I was probably the most nervous out of everyone. And, it was good. It was a good experience because I got to explain my ideas and but put them out there for not only for a little crowd to see, but also people from different countries. So they could also might have taken my ideas and maybe implemented it in their country.
Correct.
So it turns out I was the winner. I was a bit shocked because everyone was so good. And that's where the process started of, okay, we're going to get the official topic now. We're going to have to write an essay. We're going to have to practice. And don't forget, there's a mystery question.
Yeah.
Now, I was nervous more so about the mystery question than anything else because it's a mystery. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know your answer. But it was really good. We sat down, wrote the essay, cut down what we needed to cut down, put in ideas. And then it was just full-on practicing. And then the week came, and to be honest, it was a stressful week for me because everyone was stressing me out because you had to have dress codes, and my mother was like, Anastasia, do you have your dress code? You know what you're going to wear? And I was like, don't stress me out. And yes, the day that we went, I think it was a Wednesday, I had to go to school, and I was rushing because after school, 12 o'clock, I went home and I had to rush, get everything together. And I was still practicing on the airport, on the plane. Had to take pictures. I was surprised.
Yes, yes.
So we went. Unfortunately, our flight got delayed to Antigua.
Okay.
So we reached LA. We couldn't experience the welcome program they had, the first part for the first day. So I was a little bit disappointed, but nothing too big. Yeah, then the next day came. I woke up bright and early, ready to go, even though I was tired. And yeah, it was a tour.
The whole day.
The whole, I think, till midday. We started at 9 and we finished around 1, going to 2. We had a whole tour of Antigua. It was, honestly, I told them I would come back just for vacation.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I would come back just I had a wonderful experience looking at some of the forts, their harbors, their old cities, their towns, their monuments they had. Beautiful. Even to see that they still had their old houses and the way they built them, that you can see they were old. And
Okay.
yeah, it was amazing to see. Other than that, we went, I think the same day we had to do a bit of a run through of where we're going to go, which was the Parliament building. And if
Yes.
anyone saw the whole video of the live, you would see where we did our whole presentation. That was the Parliament building. That day we were told this is where you're going to sit, which this is where you're going to be, just to get a feeling. Because, you know, it's a big place. It's going to
Yes.
be crowded. You're going to be nervous. You don't know what you're getting into. And then, yeah, I think it was I was so nervous because on the Friday was presentation day and I woke up nervous. I didn't want to eat. I didn't sleep good. And I'm like, what if I forget a word? What if I stutter? What if I say it wrong? What if my intonation is wrong? And I was like, no. I got to calm down. But along the way, I think I made lots of friends because this year was only girls. So it was.
I noticed that, huh?
It was
Yeah.
only girls, so no boys. It was all girls.
We went to hide.
Yeah.
The men went to hide.
Yeah.
It was all girls,
Wow,
so
I noticed that.
we were all talking and we became friends. So it wasn't more of a competition, but more of, you're sharing your ideas about what you would want to promote, how you would promote it, for not only for your own region, but the Caribbean region as a whole. That was really nice because at the end of the day, I sat next to a girl from St. Kitts and a girl from Nevis, and I was like, you did so well. And we all encouraged each other, even though you might have stuttered or anything. We weren't like, oh, you were bad. No, you told each other, it was okay, you did good. Good job. And that's how
motivation.
it went. We
Yes.
motivated each other because
Great.
at that point, we were all like, we're in this together.
Indeed.
So,
Girl power.
all of it. So,
Indeed.
So I did my presentation, and honestly, I was so into it. I didn't even hear the lady ring the bell for I had 1 minute left. Only after I was like, did she ring the bell?
Yeah.
Apparently she
did
did.
good.
But everybody told me I did very well. I found that every girl did very well.
Yes.
And I was honestly, I sat there and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think of that. Like certain ideas you have, like to share your ideas also, to give other people ideas also
Indeed.
that, oh, I could take this home with me
Yeah,
and
yeah.
tell my people, my peers, we could do this too. And also for them to take our ideas.
Yes.
And so it works. We're all different because we're all different islands, but we're still the Caribbean
Still the
region.
same. There you
As a
go.
whole, we all share one thing in common, the region. We
Beautiful.
all share certain languages together. We all might be smaller than the world, but hey,
Beautiful.
we could still be powerful.
Indeed. And together you're stronger.
Yes,
Right.
That's right.
definitely.
You know, when the other gentleman, and of course I remember with Cantonia as well, attended this event, one of the questions that I had for them was, how did the mingling go with the other youngsters? Because I can recall, I know for a fact that especially the younger generation. Where you from, Stacia? Yeah.
Well, that
Well, honestly, I reached and nobody saw me the first day.
Because
Second
we were
day,
late.
we were late. I popped up. I was like, "Oh, hi!" I was like, "Hi." At first, soft spoken. You
Yeah.
don't know your new place. You have to get used to it. I sat next to a girl she was representing Saint Martin to the French side. And I found out her name was Anissa, and we kept talking about school and what it's like and how our educational system is different from theirs, and even to say about the way we have to put our hair in school. So that's how
Okay,
you
okay.
started up a conversation, for instance. But the mingling went very well because not only was it all girls, so we all had lots of things to talk about. Topics varied from school to girl problems to what we're going to do, what we're going to wear. And then we had dinner. I think the last day before everyone went, which was the Friday night. We all decided after this is done, we do our whole presentation, we're all relieved and de-stressed. Let's either have dinner together or we just spend time together, which is what we did. We all of us spent I think it was 3 hours in a restaurant, I think until around 11, 12 o'clock at night. And we're by results, a really pretty result. Honestly, I need to go back. I need to go back. And we only left when they started to close the restaurant.
Wow.
That is how much we talked. And even then, some girls cried. We got emotional because you really felt like you made proper close friends because you got to know each other, sit down. Because, at that moment, you can definitely connect because at that point, you all going through the same process of we have to get this right. We're studying. We have to speak properly. We have to dress like this. So you're together so you can relate to certain things. And also because we're all from the Caribbean, and we're also just curious about each other's and where we come from. Like, for instance, when I said, "Oh, where are you from?" St. Eustatius. I'm sorry, but I've never heard of that.
There you go.
I was very not shocked to say, because I know we're like a speck, Lord, sad. But I was very shocked to hear that even, like, of course, the representative of St. Kitts, she obviously we can see her. We can see St. Kitts. So we have relations. So she knows that we are St. Eustatius. But anybody else was like, I've never heard of it.
Yes.
What do you... And I'm sitting there like, I wasn't, not to say embarrassed, but more so disappointed that people didn't know about us because everybody knows Tobago, Trinidad, St. Vincent. Everybody knows St. Martin, St. Kitts, Nevis. And then you're like, oh, I'm from St. Eustatius. Well, I was like, what? No. So it was like a whole discussion of which languages we speak, what we implement, our instructional languages. If we're like, oh, so you're just the island? Are you like independent? I'm like, no, we're part of the Dutch. We are part of their kingdom, but we're a little city.
That whole history.
We're a little city in the Caribbean that is part of the Dutch.
Yes.
And they were like, wait, how does that work? I'm like, listen, it's like America has Hawaii and Puerto Rico. That's exactly the same thing. And
There
I'm
you
like,
go.
oh, I'm like, yes, only we speak Dutch. So it was me telling them about our little island, which was, did you know that we were passed on 22 times and we were colonized? It was like, wait, 22 times? I was like, yes. So, we have Spanish-speaking people. We have Dutch, French. We got everybody. They were like, wow. And then they were like, I really want to visit your island one of these days. I said, you should really come across because even though we're small and we might not have a lot to do, we still have lots of historical value. We're peaceful, which you can't really say about a lot of places nowadays. You're hearing about everything, and then there's little old station just peaceful, calm.
Tranquility.
You could walk to the beach when there's beach. You could hike, you could dive. Honestly, it's like I would say for youth, I don't think we go out as much as we used to. Even myself, like doing my essay, I thought about things back about our history, and I was like, wait, I don't go out as much as I used to, with school. But I'm like, oh, I don't hike as much as I used to. I don't go to the beach as much as I used to. I don't say, one day I'm going to just go to the beach. I'm going to go to Kura Bay to Walker Zealandia. I don't do that anymore, and I really missed out on that because, when you're younger, you find so much joy in the littlest things. And we're the smallest thing probably out there next to Sabre, which is just a quill. And you forget the joy you find in living in such a wonderful place because you take it for granted. And you forget about all the species of plants we have, birds, we have insects, we have our own special iguana we're trying to save, and nobody even remembers it. And I'm just like, what? Like, nobody knows we have a special iguana. We don't put it up there that Stacia, special iguana.
Yeah.
Please, only here, look at it. No, we forget those things. And I find it's really sad because, you know, I was born in the Netherlands. My mother was born here. She left, you know, that's years ago. She left when there was no high school. So you had to leave at age 11, 12 to go high school, wherever
Indeed.
you went. Then she chose to come back. And she brought me along, obviously, at age 4. Couldn't speak a word of English. Only thing was yes and no. And, you know, you walk around and you're like, it's a big difference from a big city and lots of people. You come here and you're like, oh, it's peaceful. We don't have lots of cars. We don't have traffic.
Yeah.
You don't have stoplights. Like, you don't experience stoplights here. Many people. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, because, you know, in school, when you talk about tourism is seen as just, oh, okay, it's a insignificant thing to us because we're that small. I hate the word of we can't do that because we are small. I find that's a very wrong thing to say, and certain times I hear adults say it, and I get sad and disappointed because you lived here your whole life, and you can't tell me a single wonderful thing, even though we are small, about your little island that you're supposed to hold with pride. Whatever may be wrong with it, you're still supposed to hold it with pride in your heart and be happy, be glad, be prideful to say, you know what, I was born in Sin Two Statias. And when people go, oh, I don't know, no, you're supposed to educate them and put us on the map. I've said it before in our local community. I said, I want to put our island on the map. Listen, I'm going to be 17 next year, March. I have till next year, October, to implement what I want to implement, and I'm sorry. People are not going to like me, but you don't have to. Because at the end of the day, I'm representing my school children. I'm representing children on our island, whether they be babies, whether they be 18 years of age. I am representing those children. And our voice needs to be heard, because I find children, you always hear adults. And I'm like, but where does the children come in? They're like, oh yeah, children are only there to be seen, not heard. Do not ever tell me I am meant to be there to be seen and not heard, because I will say, excuse me, you were once a child. Do you forget that you had to grow up to become the person you are today? So we also need to grow up, but in that growing up, we also want to better this island, this community, this economy, so that when you're old and you want to go with your pension, that you can relax and have your pension carefree instead of worrying about, oh, I wonder if my pension going to come in no time. Because no youth wants to stay on Stacia.
Well, great. Actually, Anastasia, I don't know between you and Nora who have it the most.
Is he a talkative person?
I like the talk, but ooh boy. I get the licks today, folks. Folks, again, in the studio with us, we have our junior commissioner, Miss Anastasia Constantia, and of course, her chaperone, Ms. Nora Snake from Spice Foundation. And as you can see, this is going to be a wonderful year, and I look forward to many, many, many more of these occasions. One of the things that you said, Anastasia, is that about the mingling and getting Stacia out there. I think that is what this entire operation can do for the island. And I just want to go back to Nora real quick and get a little bit more out of that. What this whole thing, because I think Anastasia said it. She said when she got into the room, persons asked, "Hey, who are you? Where are you from?" And she says, "Into Statia's." And she expected it, but didn't expect it at the same time. But that's, for me, as again from tourism's perspective, that's okay. Because there are many islands out there that people don't know, and many of them that they know is because of the negativity. Negativity spread like wildfire. When you are a hidden gem like we are, it takes a brain like yours, a special person like you, to get into that special mingling and spread that word to those equal, especially like yourselves, which is what you did. Now, All right. In this situation, where do you think this youth congress can take us? You talk about the debating part of it,
Yes.
and I'm talking taking us as future, as you know, youngsters coming
Yeah.
up like Anastasia
Yeah.
said, debating,
Yeah.
educational, and those kind of things.
Debating to me is one of the main things that we need to promote here, because it's not just the debating, because this was not really a debate. It was a situation where the youngsters had to play the role of a director's meeting, a council of ministers meeting, and then they would have to come with the ideas from their perspective island and try to convince the other ministers there.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not just the debating, it is the whole thing behind debating, be how you speak, how you walk, how you dress, how you everything. And that is why they tell you you have to come dressed in business attire for certain things,
Yeah.
and then you have other, you know. So now
Casual.
your business attire, you will see that most of those youngsters had on a suit
Yes.
or a two-piece or whatever.
Yes.
So it is a whole package. It isn't just the debate. It is about how you present yourself as well. So we don't want no people chewing gum while they are sitting there,
Yeah.
because these cameras are around and they see you grazing like a cow. You understand? So we don't want that. So these are things that has to be trained.
Yes.
If you go out together, you have to know how to eat.
Indeed.
You must be able to eat with a knife and fork. You must be able to know
Which come first.
which come first. You understand? So this time, well, we didn't go through that, but the time that we went to St. Martin, I took those kids out to the Jane House
Yes.
and asked the Jane House to place the table for
settings.
me
Yes,
exactly how it should be. And then how you start with your
Three-course,
soup or your
four-course,
whatever.
whatever. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
so
yes.
so it is
The
much
different
more.
courses.
It is much. So it is debating and etiquette.
Yes.
At the same time.
That's what I
so
wanted to get into.
the etiquette. That is one of the things that I have done before. We've done it with the small children in the school, but we also want to do etiquette for big people,
Okay.
because I know there are a lot of many persons that do not know. You understand
Okay.
what to do.
Pause for 1 second. I'm coming to you now, Anastasia. Both of you can answer this question briefly. One of the things we have seen, we have just had the conference, and we have held a mock-up colloquium where, of course, the students perform certain skits, etc., and then they are judged, etc. Again, similar to what it does with CTO as well.
Yeah.
One of the things that we heard from the audience was the delivery, and not just the delivery in performances,
Yeah.
but how you speak,
Yes. How you
how
present.
you present.
Yes.
Now-
yes. Very important.
There are times when you can be, as they were saying in Dutch, stoer.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
It depends on the performance. Maybe that's
Yes.
what the performance requires you
Yes.
to do.
Yes.
But your delivery
Yes.
should be at
Be
a certain level. Now,
Correct.
where do you see yourselves right now, with especially with a platform like this? I'm looking at Spice in this manner.
What I'm planning to do is that we are not going to wait until next year to start debating.
Okay.
So I want to have a continuous debate class.
Okay.
So a debate class where during the year we have debates, and seeing that we only have one secondary school, we will try to take the kids from each class from 14 until 17.
Yes, yes.
So that you can have more. You can have just, maybe you can take a group of 14, a group of 15s, and a group of 16, and then we just try to start with them.
Yeah.
Because first of all, many of the kids are shy in the beginning when you ask them, you want to come to the debate class? No, I can't talk. I can't this.
That's the part,
Everybody
yes.
can talk.
Yes.
And if anyone listened to Shakwan last
Articulation
time,
is important.
Shakwan When we asked Shaquan last year, Shaquan said, oh, no, I just stammer. I just stammer. He said, I just stammer.
But he did well.
But when he went to Bahamas, he didn't stammer one time.
I was about to ask you, when does he stammer?
You know, but you have to keep training them.
Yes.
So they can just start off, do the essay like how they want, and after then you start to train them. You start to train them on when you have to when your intonations have to be high or low or fast or and these are the things when they're trained, they will go out and they will perform properly.
Okay.
So I don't have a problem with that. We just have to get the training going,
Yes.
and we will together with her, we will continue to have these debates.
Fantastic, because we are talking about the future,
Yes,
the youth.
yes.
And Anastasia, Mrs. Constantia, hit on it a lot during her,
Yes.
her session just
Yes,
now.
yes,
So I'm
yes.
coming to you right now. Where do you see you playing a role in getting your peers, because you mentioned that too,
Yes.
to the level of performance or articulation, because that's what's important. There are many times you hear the discussion on the street or among adults, as you would say, is that, but they can't speak, or
Yes.
they cannot articulate,
Yeah.
or they don't know how to, or they don't know when to. What would you say about that, and what role would you like to play in getting your peers to that kind of level that you performed at, for example, at the event?
I know most people in my class would say, yeah, I'd get too shy, or I can't do it. Again, I hate that word. Not only because they've never tried, but nobody has actually ever encouraged them to do it. You see that a lot. Like our students, whether it be young or old, you always hear, oh, I can't do this. I don't want to. Why don't you want to? Oh, I don't know. It seems boring. But you never have somebody, whether it be like somebody 18 or older, to encourage us to say, hey, you can do this.
Yes.
You can try your hardest. We don't care if you make a mistake. It's a learning process.
Yes.
You will take this experience, which I will now have for the rest of my life, and you will grow from it. It will better you, not only as a person, but it will help you with that experience. Also, encourage other students, other people to do maybe the same thing you want to do or more. Because what I will take from this experience to tell the junior commissioner of next year, which will be 2020 to 2021, is, listen, it might not seem simple, but it's also not that hard if you try your hardest. No one ever said you can't do anything. But you'll never know if you can do something if you don't try.
Indeed.
And when you try, you have to put in your 100%. I don't want no 50%. It's your 100 full percent, because then you know that if you really can do something or not. You work towards something. You can't just say, oh, I don't want to do it because, I've never done it. It don't seem like, no, just try it. What I would tell for anybody who wants to participate for next year is, listen, I had a wonderful experience with people and girls, and it was nice to even talk to adults about problems. Like we sat there at the dinner, like I said, the Friday night, and we did not only talk about normal, teenager or girl stuff, what do you expect, like boys, or no. We talked about politics. We talked about problems in the Caribbean region as a whole. One of those topics I myself talked about, which I was very disconcerted with, my mother knows this, is in the Caribbean we have so much violence, and we have the youth. We have, oh my gosh, I can't even stress this enough. Why do people disregard us so much? I'm so sorry. I, as a youth myself, had heard multiple times, even to this day, when I'm in a meeting to say I want to be serious, I'm 16, I get looked down upon because, oh, I am 16. I do not know what I'm talking about. I am too young. I haven't lived my life yet. And I would tell somebody, listen, you don't have to be young or old to be able to give your ideas, to put your input in, and to teach someone else, because you always learn.
Indeed. Fantastic. Stop at that note. I like that. That's a good note for you to end on right now, because we're going to learn a little bit more. DJ, I would like to play the second part of the interview that took place
at this event in Antigua, if you have it ready for us.
The Junior Commissioner
And
of
maybe I can
Tourism
just say something
from
at this
St.
time.
Eustatius to
As soon
open
as
her
he's ready,
envelope.
yeah. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, he's ready.
Huh?
Hold your thought.
Okay.
Please remember to state the number
This
of the
was
question
the
when
mystery
providing your
question
response.
that you spoke
Yes,
about.
Yes.
Stand up on your feet and speak.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's here. What?
It playing?
No,
You hearing
he's
it?
on the phone.
No, but it's running, but I'm not hearing it.
Oh,
I got question 1. Now, I have 2 words.
I'm not hearing.
Tourism week. On every island, we could have a tourism week, not just my island, which means we would come to schools, every day, it doesn't matter, just 1 week, we'd come together, educate children, engage them on what tourism is about, why tourism is so significant and important to the Caribbean. Not only carry them on field trip to see their historical views of their island, but also ask them their opinion, what they would do for their island to thrive in tourism. I would give them activities to do, even in school after, essays to write. Just like us, gather children together from your community to ask them to represent their island, their thoughts, and what they think should happen. Their opinion matters. Thank you.
Thank you to the Junior Commissioner of Tourism from St. Eustatius for that innovative idea. I'm sure the ministers.
All right, we are back. Folks, you heard the mystery question. And yeah. Talk to us. Education. That's why I said stuff on that note.
So, yes, we got a mystery question. I'll just give you a brief run through. Before we started, before any of it was running on live, we were given, there's 3 questions. You don't know which question you'll be given in your envelope, but you're required 5 minutes to look at those 3 questions everybody has at the same time and to briefly answer those questions with points, whatever you want to write down. Then at the end, you give your presentation. Then there's the mystery question part. Now, everybody gets an envelope.
yes.
You don't know which question you'll get. And question 1, 2, or 3. 3
3.
questions. I got question 1.
No.
Yes, I got question 1.
Oh, okay.
I got question 1, which was, how would you promote tourism? I think,
The tourism week.
yeah.
Yeah.
My idea, yeah, how would you promote tourism to your peers on why it's important and how would
Yes.
you go through that process? And at first I was thinking like, okay, all right, then I got the idea. I was like, wait, we don't have a tourism week. I was like, we need this in our lives. So I sat there, and as I'm going through and I'm hearing everybody speak, I'm just running through what I'm going to say at that moment. Because I don't pay attention to anybody else but what I want to say. And I came up with, yes, 2 words, tourism week. No, my idea genuinely for this like I said, it didn't also have to be one particular island. It could be the Caribbean region as a whole. Because, like I said, the whole Caribbean region is dependent on tourism. The GDP is like, what, 70%? 70% of our gross domestic product is tourism. That's where we get our money, our income, everything comes through tourism.
More like 90%.
We don't even know. 90, it could be a lot. It
Some
could
of
be
them hiding it.
Yeah.
some of them.
Yeah,
And you only hear adults talk about tourism.
Yeah.
And especially on our island, again, people say it's so small that, we can't have tourism. We can't have boats, we can't have yachts, we can't have people come across. Not only because we don't have enough, there's nothing to do, first of all, on the island. There's nothing to show. I'm like, no, there's a lot to show, there's a lot to see. But not only can you legitimately ask adults. No, but you've never asked in primary schools, maybe in secondary schools, hey, what do you know about tourism? Do you just think it's a word? Because we learn about tourism in our social studies book, but it's the technical side of okay, tourism is this much, this much. The Caribbean uses it. We use our natural resources, how we earn money. It's how we promote our island. You know, tourists come across, but what you never really see in books is the view of children on tourism and how they would promote their islands. Because like I said, we're the future. I said that while I was answering my mystery question. I said, listen, our input matters because
Indeed.
we're the one that's going to have to grow up.
Live with it at the end of the day.
Yeah, we are. And what I was thinking about on that question is our island we barely have any tourism. And I want to put our island out there not only for other islands to see, but for people around the world to see, come across and say, oh my gosh, I went to this very small island, but listen, let me tell you, they have this wonderful thing called the quail, and I see so much birds, I see crabs, I want to hear that when I go somewhere and I say, I'm from St. Eustatius, you hear, oh my gosh, that place where they have that wonderful shipwreck. I'm like, yes, exactly that place. But if you don't have people promoting it, especially youth, because, every day texting,
Yes.
then you don't have
Social
promotion. You don't have socializing. You don't have any way to put yourself out there. But you also not getting in new ideas, new ways of actually promoting yourself. Especially like I thought, Tourism Week was something we could start on our own island. And I thought about it. I'm like, wait, why don't we just have a week to show children what it's like to be, for you, because you work in tourism, for even to say a director of a board in tourism, what it is like to work in tourism, what you do, the process you have to go through every day, to see what it's like, not only to say, oh, it's that easy, but also just to see, the technical side, the hard parts about it. And also somebody to say, working in the museum, how that goes, how tours go, how there's made, how you get your artifacts in place. That's all parts of not only our history, but promoting tourism and how it works. It'll get people interested because you're showing them the process of how and why and really
When?
where.
Yeah.
It's not just, okay, bam, we have tourism, but we're not doing it. No, you get them interested. And then the end of the day, the end of the week, you tell them, what is one thing you would tell us as adults, as people working in this field, what we can better ourselves on, what we can do? For instance, for you to say, to get more people into our island, whether it be, oh, let's build more hotels, or let's get more renewable energy, let's clean up, something like that. Because I find tourism, people take tourism as one part, but tourism holds in so many parts of the Caribbean, because you can't have tourism without your history. You can't have tourism without your community, your culture, your people, your festivals.
Tourism is everybody's business.
Yes, it really is everyone's business, because we're all in it, because it's to showcase your island, which whether it be your features, which is physical, even, untangible
And the
features.
tangibles. That's right. That's
We
right.
still need to put
The
all
people.
of that in. The people.
The hospitality that you
Yes.
generate. You said it pretty well in the beginning. You said Statia is still one of the safest
Yeah.
It really
island
is.
not just in the Caribbean, in the world.
Where do
But
you
it's
hear
because
somebody?
of the
Yeah.
people.
It's because people say,
Those are your intangibles.
Yeah.
The people.
the people.
We are one of the most hospitable island or nation, what would you want to call it, in the world today. People still come to Statia. You still hear good morning, good afternoon, hi, how are you, etc.
That is-
But we have to keep it. We have to
That's it
maintain
right there.
that.
We
And
need
I
to.
think that what Anastasia is trying to say is that we hear a whole lot about tourism, but we must be able to put tourism in action.
Yes.
In action, really in action.
But it takes
you
the
know?
people. They
It
need to
takes-
come
it
on
really
board.
does. It really
Yes, it takes
does.
the people, but
Come on
it's,
board.
It's also how you have to get them.
Yeah.
Sometimes, as you say, the kids might want, but when
Push
they get
them.
there in the discussion, the little girl Sunaidi, she was so nervous, But when
I
she
think she
get
did well.
When she get up there,
Everything
I was
was gone.
surprised.
I was
She
like,
did
I
well.
want
She
ideas.
You
did
understand?
well.
So I think by getting
Yeah.
more of our kids involved And that is the job that, well, I have to do
Yes.
together. We'll do it together with
Honestly,
Anastasia as well.
I'll be right here.
You understand?
All day, every day, just
You,
give
you
me
know
a
what
call.
I mean? So sometimes it takes some time
Well, I have another
because
job for her
it,
too.
it,
so
it
I
takes
hope
some time. But
She have the time.
you know, like
Because
you have to say you have to practice.
Yes.
Yeah,
And of
practice.
course people say practice, but if you don't practice,
Practice
you
makes
can't get perfect.
That's right.
practice
You
makes
see?
right.
So you
right.
sometimes you have to say it over and over
right.
and over again until you get it.
Yeah.
And not only that, but
You know?
practice does make perfect. And
Yeah.
you know, if you don't start to do something, you'll never reach somewhere.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You can't run a marathon if you don't start
Indeed.
running,
Indeed.
because you'll never reach the
You
finish
gotta practice.
line.
You gotta
have
practice.
to practice.
Gotta
There's
practice. Endurance and all. I gotta build
Oh
up.
my gosh, I said, you know, before we ever start promoting anything, we need to research, we need to organize, and then it's plan of action implementation.
Yeah.
And I told my mother this. I came back, I said, I went to this whole.
back all
I
excited.
I came back excited with so much. I sat my mother down. I said, you know, Mama, I want to do something because I don't want to go and hear people say I don't know where St. Eustatius is. I don't want that. I don't like that personally. Because I said I want to hold pride from where I was raised. I want to take that with me, give that to my future children, and with pride tell them, you know, I'm from this little place, but let me tell you, it's very powerful. And we achieved a lot in so little with so much. And I find, you know, I really just want to do a lot of things because I hope that, honestly, I am a very busy person. I do a lot of things. People tell me I'm a workaholic.
Right, that's good.
But,
we need more
you
like
know,
you.
Yeah.
I really want to achieve something. And, you know, through this year, I really want to sit down because I already asked somebody on your board if I could schedule a meeting. Not only to ask questions, but also to give you ideas. Because then again, you know, I have a position now. And I'm sorry, you can't just tell me you're just a child. I'd be like, excuse me? I have a title and I have a right to be here. And you know, it's not only because I find Stacia has stood still for so long, and we finally need to get moving. We really need to start up the engine, and we need to be going up. Even though one time we go down, we need to pick ourselves back up, and we need to do what we need to do, because in the end of the day, I want to have more tourism, and that also means that I want to better our museum, our history, our artifacts. I want researchers to come here. I want, you know, one time you hear, okay, you know, we're under the
You hear a
Dutch,
fire burning, boy?
but
A
you
fire
know,
is
I want to
burning.
get.
We have a lot of research.
We have, that's
A
it.
fire is burning, boy.
That's because
Good, good.
I
That's
sat
what I'm
down one day and I looked at our website. Because I had that, you know, we have a website. Let me look through, and I read through it. And I was very surprised and very shocked to find that in the historical sector, there was such little to be said about any of our artifacts. But when I go to the museum, she could tell me a whole
lot.
50-page essay about what happened. How come that's so different than our website? Why don't we have videos about certain things? I find, to me, that was so shocking because that's a way of promoting, and you're not
Definitely.
given enough to say, I want to be there. I want to do this. Because in school you learn about, okay, you know, slavery. But I'm like, hello.
There's a lot more. to
There's
it.
a lot more to Stacia
That can
than
be done.
Dutch, than just slavery. I'm like, nobody talks about how we were at a time the biggest trading post in the
Yes.
Caribbean region. Nobody remembers it. And I do not know why, because it's such a big thing. I find I should just be recognized for just that one thing. And nobody wants to talk about it. You don't have, especially adults. I'm like, you're supposed to know this. You were born and raised here. Has nobody told you this before? And then you hear, but yeah, you know, we're just small. We can't achieve anything. I'm like, you never limit yourself just because you are small. Okay?
No.
You don't see children do that. Children may be 4 or 5 years old and they tell you, listen, one day I'ma be a pilot. One day I'm going to achieve greatest. And you don't limit yourself to just you reach for
For the stars.
Dude, you do reach for the stars. You reach for so much.
What time is it?
Go ahead. Don't worry. Okay.
No,
Let the
she
lady
gotta go back
talk.
to school.
Okay, no problem.
No,
We're gonna say with all this fun thing, I forgot about school.
Lord.
Oh, anyway.
It's like, but no, but
All right.
I really want to, do certain things in our community. And as a child too, I'm having a voice for the youth, and I have the youth on my shoulders, next to me, and I want to actually ask people in my community, children. I had a plan. I was going to write out a whole questionnaire of what do you think
Well, continue
tourism
the plan.
is.
Don't
Yeah.
stop the plan.
And the thing is
You
I'm
have-
only
you
one.
have a plan.
That is, but I'm only one person.
You have a plan.
Yeah, but you have to get it together.
Yeah, that's
with
what I mean.
Other,
I want
other people.
I don't, because, we're a small island. Everybody knows everybody. Let's not let, we know everybody's names. We're only about, 3,000 to 4,000 people. That is not a lot.
No.
We have village, a community.
But I want us to come together to finally say, hey, I, as a local, a station, whether I was born here, I came in, I migrated, I want to do something to better this island, this community. Not just for myself, but for everyone around
Future
me.
generations. Exactly. All
And
right.
One last thing
Wait,
I
no,
want
no,
to
I'm not
say-
finished. Anastasia, you have your work cut out for you. We definitely
I
going to be
really
working
hope-
with you.
I hope you're prepared for me.
Oh, no, I hope you're prepared for me. You're talking all that talk
I
now.
got me.
Don't worry. I got you. All right. As I said, it's very important to have that fire burning, that youthfulness going. And one of the things that we talk about is how other islands and other countries have gotten to their stage of tourism and tourism awareness within their islands and how they have changed. I mean, let's look at some of the neighboring islands. Let's talk about St. Kitts, for example.
Yeah.
They shift
Yeah.
from the sugarcane to the tourism.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that just by doing it. They also took the youth along with them.
Yeah.
I was on Grenada. I saw how
Yeah.
Grenada,
Grenada.
you go on any tour, you go on any rum factory. The guy that gave us the tour
Oh, yes,
at
he's
the
a
rum
young-
factory was a guy, he was only 21 years old. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you legal?
Yeah.
Are you legal
Yeah.
to be? So
Yeah.
the youth is what they took. But that's what we have been always looking at. And like you said, I'm glad that fire is burning. Let's see how we can get. We don't want to set the krill on fire, but we're gonna put
We're not gonna-
that song. When you say station
Oh,
on
no.
fire,
We're gonna put it in the
station on fire.
spotlight.
We're
It's
gonna
gonna
put
be in
station on fire just now. No, you had something to say
And
before
as we want also the public to understand that even though that Anastasia didn't come out the junior commissioner of the Caribbean or
That's-
whatever,
that's
she came
debatable.
out. She came out for Stacia, and therefore she has a reign of a year. And so we would ask it also emphasize on the tourism to make use of her
Indeed.
as much as possible
I am
during the year. And one last thing I would like to say too, to the general public, I personally want to thank the public for supporting me with my food sales leading up to this event, because
Great.
without you we couldn't go along as well.
Yeah, because it
So
takes
thank
money
you
to be
for
there.
it takes money
Takes money to be there.
to go. It takes for your hotel, for everything.
For the airfare,
So
the
I
travel,
want to
everything,
thank
yes,
the general public for assisting me with my food sales, especially, and I will continue with food sales. So I hope you'll be there to continue to support,
because
because
this is happening now. It's
this
on.
is for these causes
Yes.
that you need, to put yourself out there and to get the funds to be able to go.
All right,
No.
great. Folks, again, here you have it. We have been talking with the Junior Commissioner of Tourism for 2019, and of course, the founders and the organizer of the event, which is Spice Foundation. Again, once we talk about debating and debate, as you can see,
It's more-
and as you heard here from this youngster, how fired up and emotional she is and motivated. But again, this is what last year when we met with the gentleman too who attended, when before I spoke to him before actually and on several occasions, and his before and after was totally different. And same thing with Cantonea.
Yes.
Before, because she was very shy. Now
Yes.
the before and after, it's where you can get where this type of event can propel
you.
our youth And our youth, again, we said the youth is the future. But if we don't grab them and run with them and motivate them and help them to get to that next level, we will always remain station.
Yes.
And I believe that we all have a job to do. We all have a task. And as parent, your job is basically to make your child available for stuff like this. And you, as youngsters, students, future of tomorrow,
available.
you have to make yourself available for things like this, because again, the only way Stacia can get, and I'm saying Stacia because now it's general, the only way Stacia can get there is by you, the youngsters, doing your part and making sure that that awareness and that, because it's all about education.
Yes.
An educated society, this is my saying, that
Yes.
educated society
It
is a
is.
progressive society.
Yes.
Once you have that education and you know, you can move forward, you can move mountains. And that's what it's all about here, folks. Again, Miss Anastasia, thank you so much. And we definitely going to work. Matter of fact, I'll say it right now. You are already appointed to one of our committees, which is the Tourism Vision Plan Committee. It's a task force. So you are officially a member. So bring all those bright ideas that you have.
I
And we will have you in our next meeting for sure, which is in November. So already we start. So the ball is rolling, and we need the rest of the community again. Tourism is everybody's business, and for tourism to grow in Stacia, we need each body's input. And of course, this is your program, FYI, brought to you by the St. Tourism Development Foundation. Thank you for listening. Until another time, Godspeed.
Right. Bye-bye. Yippee.
Program FYI, keeping you informed on topics in and around tourism development. Stay tuned and be informed. FYI, brought to you by the St. Tourism